he could be himself around his... Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Yuen again, and I'm back with another story. And for today's story, we are going to read Clark the Shark. Clark is a very fun shark, and I'm excited to read his story to you today. And it's written by Bruce Hale and illustrated by Guy Francis. All right, here we go. Clark the Shark. In all the wide blue seas, in all the wide blue world, the top school for fish was Theodore Roosterfish Elementary. And of all the fish at Theodore Roosterfish, the biggest and strongest was Clark the Shark. Clark loved school, and he loved his teacher, Mrs. Inky-Dink. He loved to play upsy-downsy and spin-a-majig with his friends. Clark loved life. School is awesome! Shouted Clark the Shark. Shh, less shouting, more reading, said Mrs. Inky-Dink. Lunchtime is sweet, yelled Clark the Shark. Munch your own lunch, said his best friend, Joey Mackerel. Recess rocks, bellowed Clark the Shark. You are playing rough, Clark, cried the other kids. So Clark tends to be a little loud and a little rough. Yes, Clark loved his life with all of his sharky heart, but he loved everything way too much. He was too loud, he was too wild, he was just too much shark for the other fish to handle. After a while, no one would play with Clark. No one ate lunch with him, no one sat with him at circle time. Even his best friend Joey Mackerel said, "Cool your jets, Clark. You're making me crazy." Nobody wants to play with him. How do you think Clark feels right now? Let's come up with some adjectives. He might feel sad. What else? Maybe lonely? Maybe even embarrassed? Can you think of other adjectives to describe how he's probably feeling? Poor Clark. One day, Clark asked Mrs. Inky-Dink, "What's wrong with everyone?" Mrs. Inky-Dink patted his fin. "Clark, sometimes you play too hard. You munch too hard and, gosh, you even help too hard." "But life is so exciting," said Clark. "There's a time and a place for everything," said Mrs. Inky-Dink. "And sometimes the rule is stay cool." So she's telling him there's times when you can be silly, and then there's other times you need to stay cool and not be silly. At recess, Clark tried to stay cool, but he pushed the swing with too much zing. "Sorry," said Clark. "I forgot." "Yikes!" cried Joey Mackerel. At lunch, Clark tried to stay cool, but everything smelled so good that he munched a bunch of lunches. "Sorry," said Clark. "I forgot." "We're starving," said his friends. Clark is trying to remember the rules, but it seems like he's having quite a difficult time. Have you ever forgotten a rule, maybe at school or at your house, and you really tried to remember it, but you just couldn't? That's happened to me before. In class, Clark tried to stay cool, but a good book got him all shook up. "Now, Clark," said Mrs. Inky-Dink, "this isn't the the time or the place. Tell me, what's the rule? Stay cool, said Clark. Hey, that rhymes, he cried. Then Clark got a big idea in his Sharky head. Maybe if I make a rhyme, I'll remember every time, he thought. The next day, he put his plan to work. So now he has an idea. He's going to try to make a rhyme to help him remember the rules. In class, when lessons got exciting, Clark wanted to bounce up out of his seat. Instead, he told himself, when teacher's talking, don't go walking. And what do you know? It worked! Attaboy, Clark, said Mrs. Inkydink. Clark smiled. Lessons are fun. At lunch, everything smelled so yummy. When Clark wanted to eat and never stop, he told himself, only munch your own lunch. And it worked again. Way to go, Clark, said his friends. Clark grinned. Lunch is fun. Okay, so far Clark's trick is working. At playtime, Clark told himself, easy does it, that's the way. Then my friends will let me play. And playtime was fun. Once more, Clark loved his life. So he is making sure that he reminds himself not to play too rough. That way nobody gets hurt. But then a shadow fell across the playground. A ginormous shadow with tentacles galore. It's a new kid, and he looks scary, cried Joey Mackerel. Swim for your lives! The squid squashed the slide, and it snapped off the swings. Oops, my bad, said the new kid. Oh, so there's another big kid coming in, and this time he's new, and everyone's a little afraid of him just because of his size. Wait, said Clark. He just wants to play. Let's find a way. And he swam at the new kid with all his might. Clark played harder than he had ever before. Upsy-downsy and spin-em-a-jig. Why, he even made up a new game. Tail-whoop-a-lumpus. Wow, that was fun, said the new kid breathlessly. And he settled down. If you want to come to school, you've got to stay cool, said Clark. That was so nice of Clark. He saw a new kid with nobody to play with, and he decided to play with him all by himself. And he made him feel very welcome. And Clark got to play new games with somebody his size. That's right, Clark, said Mrs. Inkydink. And thanks for taking care of our new classmate, Sid the Squid. Hooray for Clark the Shark! Everyone cheered. That night, Clark's mother asked, what did you learn at school, dear? There's a time and a place for everything, Clark said. Sometimes you stay cool, but sometimes a shark's gotta do what a shark's gotta do. And now he's able to have playtime. That was so nice of Clark. He decided to be a good friend and welcome the new student, and he also worked on himself by coming up with rhymes to help remember the rules. And he made sure to stay cool. What I want you to do is I want you to tell me some of your own rhyming words. Maybe you can make up a rhyming word to remember a rule in your house, or maybe even a rule in class. I want you to tell me what your rhyme for your rule is. I enjoyed being with you today, and I will see you tomorrow.